Hey everybody, Kathy here. Okay, I'm sorry I didn't do any more videos about my Bible study at the RTR. I got pretty busy. Um, it turned out well, I thought. It wasn't attended by a lot of people, but the people that God sent was pretty amazing to me, actually. I'm not sure if any of them even knew that I was a YouTuber. I never mentioned it. I did have signs on my vehicle that said the Butterfly Express, but I never brought out my camera. I never mentioned that I had a YouTube channel. It was all about God, and I was amazed. I was amazed. The people that came, um, I guess I can use their real names because you never saw them. One of the first guys that came was Michael, and he was a 21-year-old man. He was a vet. He had been in the military, and he had also been searching, and he had converted to Islam for like 4 years and got up to the fourth step, and the last one he would need to get to would be to go to Mecca. And I can't remember what he said that made him change his mind, and he started looking for Jesus. And he was really smart. He had done a lot of research, study, and um, he was a little nerve-wracking to me, I must admit, because he never smiled, for one thing, hardly ever smiled. He was very serious. And I guess the fact that he had been, studying Islam and the Quran, I was having these imaginations that one day he was going to drive by my Bible study saying Ali Akbar and shooting me, but of course that wasn't that never happened, of course. And Michael, if you're watching, I love you. I really was blessed by the time that you spent with us. And another guy that came almost every time was a guy named Dwayne, and he was a black guy who was a black Hebrew. I don't know if you've heard of the Black Hebrew Roots movement, but he was a black Hebrew. And he was very, very studious also, and smart. And I mean, he would hardly talk. Sometimes he would, but as he would listen to us and just look up scriptures, and sometimes he would bring a friend with him online who was also a Hebrew roots person. And, of course, I don't believe that. If you know anything about the Hebrew roots, the little bit I do know is they don't believe that the real Jews are in Israel yet, and they think that the real Jews are black. And another guy that started coming, his name was Abram, and he was very, very smart. He was a Baptist. And at first I thought he was an angel because he was so knowledgeable about the Bible and church history. And he was a great, great addition to our Bible study. He really was. My friend Sunny came almost every day. She was parked behind me, and she's a beautiful Christian lady also. She's living in her van. But I think the highlight of the Bible study for me was when Sunny invited a man who was a Rastafani. His name was Dustin, and he invited a friend who was a Jew, who had moved here from Israel. He had a thick Hebrew accent and everything, and he came down and sat down at our Bible study and said, "I've come to learn." So what we had there that day was, we had Dwayne, who was a black Hebrew, who does not believe that any real Jews are white, and a true white Jew. And there was no contention, and I was so glad Abram was there because he was able to explain things in more detail than I could, because I had never in my life had an opportunity to witness to a Jewish person about why I believe that Yeshua was the Messiah. And I've been to Israel 4 times. I don't know if I've ever mentioned that in a video. The first time I went to Israel was on tours, and the second 2 times I went was as a volunteer for Israel, where I did volunteer work on military bases. And I love Israel. I love the Jewish people, and I was thrilled to death that I had an opportunity to explain why I believed that Yeshua was the Messiah. And to me, that is what God did during this Bible study. He brought people who um, he had different beliefs and understandings that weren't right, but loved him and loved his word, to provoke each other to study more, because they sure provoked me to study more also. So I count it as a success. Dennis had to leave like about 6 days later. That was okay, you know. God bless his heart. If he wouldn't have came to help me as much as he did, I might have lost my nerve. And I count the Bible studies a success unto God. I really do. So now I'm in Ehrenberg right now with Sunny and desperately trying to find a work camping job. I had put some applications in at the big tent, and when I got home online, and I've done a few today, got my resume out there, and I'm not done. My friend Karen called me and she gave me a heads up on some KOA jobs in Williams, which I had applied for a couple of those. I just joined the KOA work camper thing, and it's $35 a year, but I figured there's a lot of KOAs. I have to find something. I'm running out of money. You know, I only get $526 a month, and my savings are dwindling quickly. So I have to do something. But I'm excited and happy, and I feel like God is really got my back. I really do. You know, yesterday morning I woke up with a little bit of anxiety, thinking about, you know, it's a little overwhelming. But today I felt better, and so I just want to let you know, I'm sorry if you can't see me very good. This is like the most better. I wanted to do the video outside. And again, I'm sorry I didn't update so much. And I'm looking forward to going back next year and doing the same thing if I do go back to the RTR. But to have a plan, because I really didn't have a plan for that at all, you know. But God sent people who wanted to study the Bible. Every single one of these men brought their Bible. And another thing that happened during the Bible study was one day we were sitting there, and it was just me and Sonny, and we were reading out of Matthew 24. And this man walked by, a friend of ours, and he's like, "Oh, what are you girls reading?" And we like, "Oh, Matthew 24." And he looked at us. He's like, "Somebody just told me last night that I need to read Matthew 24." And he walked off. And later on, I talked to him at the fire, and you know, he had grown up in a Christian home and had fallen away, and he told me that he has been provoked to study the Bible and start reading it again. So that was good. And there's one thing that some of my Christian friends might not understand that I would do was at night I would go around the fire and talk to people, and I would drink a beer with them, and you know, I'd talk about God, my faith, whenever I got the opportunity. Sometimes people would hear us talking amongst ourselves and chime in on the conversation. And I was surprised that nobody attacked me for that, actually. Nobody said, "How are you having a Bible study during the day and then come over here and drink a beer at night?" Nobody did. In fact, several of the women said that they appreciated that I would do that. And I believe Jesus would have did something like that, you know. But that was part of my original instructions when I first started this. You know, I thought I was going to have to make a lot of changes in my own life in order to be a witness for God. And God said, "No, Kathy, be yourself, because there's a lot of people out there like you, and tell them what I've done for you." So that's what I've tried to do. I hope I'm doing it, and I'm going to keep doing it because I love God, I love Jesus, and I want people to know the Jesus that I love, and I want them to be saved, because there is a real hell and there's a real heaven, and heaven's better, and God is so merciful and so gracious that he watches out for us even when we don't acknowledge him. I've seen it. And I asked him one time, you know, "How is that?" And I realized that I don't know that people are praying for their loved ones out here, and that's how they can make it. They don't even know that it's God who is saving them sometimes. They think it's other things, and there's so much spiritual wickedness out here. It's really bad. It really is. But God is greater, and, you know, the Bible tells us that we need to be watching and praying for his return, and that is exactly what I'm doing. And in the meantime, I'm looking for a job, camp hosting job, and I'm trying to stay in Arizona. I really don't want to go too far. I'm getting ready to change my residency over to Arizona and register my vehicle here and get a driver's license and all that. Okay, so that's it. I just wanted to let you know how the Bible study ended up. Um, God bless your hearts, everybody. Thank you for watching my videos.
I'll be back from ketosis by around 10 a.m.